Here we are on the road again for another NIMBY tip back here in Oakland, California. And today we're going to talk about the part 2 of fear, and that's the fear of voters. So we're really talking about the elected officials. What's their number one priority? Because having that answer really helps explain this whole segment. Their number one priority is to get reelected, right? You know, they're in office, they like to be in office, and they want to continue to be an elected official. And now when a project becomes controversial, they're literally counting the votes in City Hall. So we have to account for the fear of the voters when the NIMBY opposition mobilizes itself and they really try to make themselves look like and represent the silent majority. And so when these elected officials start seeing the negative news coverage, they start seeing that the developer retreating or reacting in a defensive posture, elected officials are like, hey, why am I going to fall on the sword for this project? It's much easier for me to vote no and just get rid of this controversy versus really looking at the benefits that your project brings to the community, right? That's more jobs, that's a tax base. There's also other elements depending on, is it residential, commercial, industrial, or anything else in between. But that doesn't really matter when the elected officials are running for cover from the opposition. So the NIMBY tip here is understanding you got to give them the confidence and the cover to vote yes, to have that courage, because the courage isn't there. And I would know, being a former elected official, I've seen it firsthand from my colleagues on the dais. So the NIMBY tip in closing out here is you got to make sure you give them the impressions that they're going to be okay if they vote for your project. And when you do that, you will certainly turn NIMBY opposition into YIMBY yes in my backyard opportunities. See you next time.